Good day, everyone. Welcome to another creator interview on That CNFT Show. My name's Alex. I'm very excited to be joined today by Sir Moiz himself, my good friend from KnftyWorld. We're getting down to crunch time, and thank you very much for joining me for a few minutes today to talk about the project.
Appreciate it, Alex. Thanks for inviting me. Been looking forward to this for what, like 2 months now, right?
Yeah, we talked about it really early once I found the project, and that was all the way back in at the end of October, if you can believe that. So it's been a really busy time. I've talked about your project on my show a couple of times. Most people who've watched this channel regularly or followed my tweets regularly will know at least a little bit about the project. But I thought we'd take it back to kind of when you first started, the genesis of the idea, and what you've been working on the past couple months since I found the project, and what we're looking forward to in the next few days. So,
yeah, I mean, the journey started basically with just before even I got into the NFTs, right? It was me and the wife, just getting married, and then we had a kid, and my mother-in-law is the one that actually inspired me, because she's the one who was knitting clothes for my kid, my newborn. And then it wasn't just the part of the knitting clothes, it was the fact that she would take these knitted clothes and she would take it to the hospital and donate it. That's what really intrigued me altogether. And it wasn't really even a eureka moment at that point. It was just something in the back of my mind. Then I started getting into NFTs. Like, somebody told me about a Top Shot. You've probably seen a Merciless Musa. It's like Merciless Moose. He told me about like a Top Shot NFT. Like, it's just NBA stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really funny that you mentioned that, because yesterday I got an email out of the blue that's saying someone had bought one of my garbage Top Shots that I put on the marketplace like 9 months ago for $20, and I told, but that was my entry into NFTs too. I was actually buying Top Shots.
Yeah. So he told me about it, and I'm just like, what is this NFT? And like, why am I going to purchase this, 5-second GIF, right? Like, just like anything else. And then started looking into it, and it's like, all right, you know what? It's not just the piece of art, because the art is there, but like there's the technology behind it, right? Which is just like anything like blockchain, right? And then basically started looking into it, got into NFTs, bought one. I can't remember. I think my first one was, what's that one that got rugged? The cookie dough.
What chain was it on?
It's on Cardano.
Oh, okay.
It was that, the cookie dough.
Oh, gingerbread.
Yes, gingerbread.
All right.
That was my first one, right? And then, I started looking into it, and I said, I don't see, and then I went to Solana, right? And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I started looking into it, and there wasn't anything specific. Like, the knitted clothes, and I think there's crypto nitties, but there wasn't anything what I was wanting to see, and then we just took off. Like, Fernando, me and my other friend, we were gonna launch it on Solana eventually. That's basically how my journey came in, and we just spoke to the guys, and they said, hey, why not? Let's do it.
So when you have an idea like that, like, I think that a lot of people that I know, and this is my own experience, is that when you start thinking about things you can mint to a blockchain, you start every idea for art I see graffiti, I see skins in Fortnite, I see art in an art gallery, and I think, oh, we should mint this, and you have all these ideas. When you kind of have that kind of like you said, a eureka moment where you say, oh, I'm going to make this character, set of characters, and I'm going to do them as a series of NFTs. What are the first steps in putting together like an actionable set of actions or set of ideas into something concrete?
To be frank, I was not going to launch any project. I didn't get into NFTs to launch any project. It was me just looking, to earn some money. I like the fact that I started liking art just was another thing, right? Like I always liked art, but this is making me like it even more. So it was never in the back of my mind to launch a project. I didn't get into NFTs to launch a project. I was just minting, and then I started with Cardano. And then I said, you know what? Like, I just didn't like the way Cardano minted. It was just too much hassle, right? And then I was just looking into Solana, and I'm like, hey, you know what? One click and I get everything right away. Why not, right? And it seems that I could probably make more money there. I probably lost more money than I could earn, but that was another thing, right? Like, it took me to Solana because of smart contracts. So it was never in my mind to kind of launch a project, but it was more so, just my experience, getting in, trying to see what's in the field, trying to buy it. That's what kind of got me that experience. Hey, you know what? There's something missing, and like, I had a kid, right? My first, only one person has seen this, and I'm like, you know what? I want to create something for kids, because I had a newborn. So I asked Fernando, like, you know what? Can you do me like a baby picture? Like, it's gonna look like an angry, little one, like make it look like it's standing in a diaper, but it's an angry baby, and then we'll work on the rest of the stuff. So it was just like a 2D. I'll send you. I'll send you. Maybe you can plug it in.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen as we're talking about this. When and was this out of like a knitted material? So it had made.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just something. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see, because it had to be. Because I don't know. It was because I had a newborn, right? So it was just, my mind was always just working towards like the toys or the babies, and something to do like whatever I was seeing around my kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the initial one was like, hey, just draw me a picture of like this type of baby, and I'll send you a picture of what a couple of the ones he drew for me, and I just said, you know what, forget it. Like, I don't even want to do this. I just didn't even. Not the fact that I didn't like the art. I just like, I didn't want to get into it. And then and I told you, like, my mother-in-law is knitting clothes for the kid, right? So it was, again, that was not in the. I completely forgot about it, and then we went there, and she's like, hey, I made this, for the kid again, and I'm just like, you know what? Forget the baby avatar. Let's try to do something. Let's see if there's something there. So I actually started researching before I even thought about anything. I was like, hey, knitted NFTs or knitted characters, or like, anything to do with knitted Solana, knitted Ethereum. I was doing all sorts of like, keywords research just to kind of see if there's anything. I only found CryptoNitties.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think they're called crypto.
Well, and that's one that I know back in like August as well. They've probably been around for even longer than that. But that was kind of an OG in the space. But you're right, there wasn't a lot of. There's some more ideas of things like, I've seen things made out of felt. I've seen things made out of food. I've seen things made out of different textures.
Yeah.
But you're right. If CryptoNitties is as close as we've got, I think you have kind of taken your own spin on it. So when you go from that idea, okay, I want to make a knitted doll profile pic series. How do you start building that out into lore and building that out into a KnftyWorld instead of just the Nifties themselves?
That's a good question, because again, like, my experience was from minting, right? It's just like, you wouldn't jump into something without doing any research and getting your hands dirty, right? So again, I got into it not thinking of launching a project, but it helped me. Like, my minting experience helped me, and then I started looking into the whole aspect of who's out there, what kind of art is out there, what kind of art people like. And it just kept coming to me like animals, humans, aliens, humans, some sort of human, some sort of animal. And I'm just like, what is going on here, right? And I'm like, okay, now let me actually, like, I just kept researching, and I'm like, okay, let's create something that is not real, and I knew that I'm going to do the knitted thing because I only found crypto nitties, right? And it was like they also look like babies and humans, right? Like if you look at their overall shape, so they look like small babies or small humans. So I'm like, we need to create something that's not real, you know, like a real character, like a human or whatever. We need to be creative. And if you see in our sneak peeks, you'll see like that's why I never got rid of them. If you see in our sneak peeks, we have all sorts of shapes that we were changing and we were evolving.
Yeah, I remember the first one. One of the first ones I saw was the little
a horn. It's my favorite. It gives so much personality. But then people were like, "Hey, you know, we look like a game," and I'm like, "I've never even played that game, but you know what? I don't want to be 2 months into the project and people saying, hey, you know, we copied it." And I'm like, we'll just change the shape and we'll keep the same material. It's not a big deal, right? So we changed the shape. We just kept at it, and now we are at where the design is, right? And as for the name, I kept seeing societies, I kept seeing clubs, I kept seeing all sorts of basically billionaire club or millionaire club or something similar, you know. Everybody just kept having that same name, or maybe they have the blockchain attached to it, right? Solana this, Solana cats, or Cardano cats, or something like that, Ethereum cat. I didn't see that creativity in the space that, you know, that there should be. You know, if you look at, for example, my name actually was inspired by Clay Nation. You know, I really like the way their name flows. You know, Clay Nation, Claymates, right? And I'm like, you know, it's very creative. Their art is very creative. Their names are very creative. And I'm like, I'm not going to do no society and club and, you know, what have you. So I started thinking, what do I want to see this project, you know, as? Like I started imagining, hey, you know what? If there's these knitted characters, right? Then where are they going to be, right? Like are they just in random places? It's just my mind working, you know, my mind throwing out ideas. And I just said, you know what? Why not? Like first, I came up with the name Nifty, right? Like it's very easy to come up with, like because just NFT knitted and then Nifty, right? Yeah. So I knew the Nifty's there. Like I even ran it by my wife and she's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Then I just needed to know what the rest will be. And then as my ideas kind of came all together, I'm like, you know what, we're going to create a world with, you know, a specific lore. And then we just called it KnftyWorld. And these are going to be nifty creatures. And the nifty creatures, again, is inspired by Claymates. People don't know that, right? But that's where that inspiration came from, because of their unique, you know, way of naming their project and their Claymates, right? So we call them nifty creatures, and these are the creatures.
And and that's carried over into things in your community like Discord roles and
exactly.
And and it's really good how you've tied that together. So when you got the your idea, your lore, you got your base character set, how do you and Fernando start working out ideas and producing assets for what's eventually going to be the final product?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of back and forth, and you know, it's just not. It's just my idea is if I draw, like if you saw one of the tweets, where I drew the sketch of the website, like, you know, and I said, hey, you know, it went from this to this, you know. So I'm giving him those crappy ass sketches, right?
Just written on the back of a napkin or a receipt or something, right?
Yeah, like on a blank piece of paper, and I'm giving him, you know, like I'm drawing him, you know, what's in my mind. I can't draw, but at least I can try to like guide him, right? So I'm giving him ideas like that, and I'm actually using like my note because, you know, it's much easier. I've got a pen, so I get to draw on my notes. So I'm actually drawing it on here, and then I'm just sending him the pictures, right? take a screenshot, I send it, and it's always funny. Like, he's always responsive in a way that, oh my God, it's such a beautiful piece, or wow, that's amazing. And I know he's being sarcastic, but at least it's it's supportive, and he understands the ideas of where we're trying to go, or where I'm trying to take this. So, and that's where it went from, like drawing it on the application or a piece of paper, and then like giving it to him, and then he would come back to me. He would make it like first he would make it 2D, right? Like flat, before he converts it into 3D, because it's a lot more work. Then we figure out, some shapes, some designs, we pick 4 or 5, and then we'll try that. And he'll give me 3D designs. And I did it on one of the videos where I showed some of the designs that, we went through in 3D, which of the shapes and the designs, and how much of the body we want to do, show which angle, and so it comes down to a lot of back and forth, and that's basically.
And obviously, I've complimented you lots of times on the amount of detail and his attention to making the minutest thing like tie into the story. For example, one of my favorite ones is the astronaut with the internal lighting and the space helmet and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great. Lots of projects have space attributes or themes or whatever. But then when you look at the patch on the spacesuit and it says CASA, and I know without having to read it anywhere that it's the nifty Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Yes.
Like that attention to detail and world building is really interesting. So if he's doing that much work, and I know it's been months that you guys have been going back and forth on this, we're 5 days out. Is he done? Is every asset done? So
almost every asset is done. That's why I said in the starting of the video, I think you were not recording, the dev only needs 2 days to finish everything, right?
And that's putting everything together so that it can mesh together, right? Not building the assets.
No, not building the assets. So as Fernando keeps saying in the chat, that he's basically finishing off the head accessories, and everything else is done. So once this is done, I just hand it over to the dev. The dev does the rest of the work. It takes 2 days to create the metadata and create all the assets, and I sends it to me. I approve it. That's why I'm not going to be working for the next couple of days. I'm going to be up, just looking at everything and giving the go ahead. And the rest of the stuff is pretty simple, right? Like because they've done this so many times, like coding in the launch, and because I'm not a coder, I don't know exactly what.
Right. I've never written a line of code myself, but I understand what you're getting at. And as a project manager, bringing a lot of different things together, it does come down to the last minute as you're crunching everything. Now, as we get closer and closer to launch day of that initial launch, tell us about 800 out of those 8,800 and community members and participation, and how you built that into your kind of pre-season launch. So,
as I mentioned before, before we came to Cardano, we were in Solana, right? And how we had it set up there was basically first come, first serve. And I can't remember if it was 500 or 800 there. It's been a while. But it was like first come, first serve, and then you get, the role. And then what we were going to do is we were going to provide each role a different mint time. But that was a different way of setup for Solana. It was much easier to do at that time for Solana, right? I don't know if that's possible, because I didn't really look into it for Cardano, because we are doing it a different way here. So when we came here, I learned from that experience that do not give first come, first serve people, because they think they're going to forget about it. It's like anything in life. You get something for free, you enjoy it for a couple of days, and then you put it aside, right? But it's something that you work for, and and um, you I guess you tend to value it a bit more. So when we came from Solana, I reset everything. I took off everybody's OG status. I didn't know who's going to be minting for Cardano, and I think I did the right thing because most of those people are not here anymore. So I reset everything, and I said, you know what, we're going to do it for anybody who reaches level 5 is going to get the OG status, or the as we call it, inched creatures. So they're the ones who are going to be able to mint in the pre-sale. Now that idea just came in my head I swear to God, like out of nowhere. It was just something my experience taught me. Again, I keep talking about experience because nothing better than experience.
And anyone who's been like being in the space for 3 or 4 months seems like so long because you learn so many things and everything moves so quickly. So there's going to be a solution next year to rewarding early that we don't even understand or have any idea yet. But one of the things I really like about it is you guys did such a good job of, it's moderated 24/7.
Yeah.
You encourage natural conversation instead of just spamming. And I've seen you punish people for spamming as well. And you have a very dedicated and a really strong mod team 24/7, because it's really frustrating to go into a project that you're excited about and not seeing anything going on in the Discord. And I have to say that you guys do it the best. You always have a mod there. You always have people making conversation and talking about what's going on. So I think it's a really good way to reward active community members to ensure that they get one. Now, the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, back in October, November, I thought the project art would have been strong enough to launch immediately. Tell me about the decision to keep pushing it back till it's ready, because I've said before now, you could have launched a lot earlier than this with, the half finished assets, and you would have sold them. But why did you want to make sure you got everything right and push it back till you're ready?
I have OCD. So, my wife hates me for that. If I see something that sticks out to my eye, that's it. I'm not sleeping until that's fixed, right? And it's something, I think I have a pretty decent eye for art. In terms of, like if something is looking good or something's looking decent or something's unique. So we had something unique, but I was not satisfied. There was that hunger for something better, that somebody will look at it and say, wow, I wish I could show you some of the pieces, Alex, like some of like I'm going to send you a couple of pictures. You can plug that in,
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. I wish you could see it right now, and the detail, like, it just makes my jaw drop now. And that's what we were trying to achieve. That's what I wanted. Like if I can have that satisfaction where I look at it and I go like, I don't want to look away from it. I just want to keep staring at it and maybe zoom in, keep zooming in and see like the amount of details. That's what I wanted. I don't want to see pixels. I don't want to see dead pixels or discoloration, or that's what we were having before. And as we said, we could probably just launch it and probably sell out, because there wasn't anything like that before either. So it was just that hunger for perfection, for satisfaction, just continuous improvement. I mean, like, this is probably going against the grain, sometimes you have the policy ID open, and if the community, like, if I can leave the policy ID open for forever, I can keep improving the art, like after launch, and they'll just keep updating, I would do that. But again, that's going against the grain, and people don't like that. So, but that's just me, that's just me wanting perfection and continuously improve what's there.
So yeah, I heard someone say, I don't know who the original attribution is to, but that good art is never finished, only abandoned. So I see that in what you guys are doing now. I don't want to say anything as silly as like when game, but you've announced, okay, so you've announced your kind of preseason of 800 out of the 8,800. You haven't announced it yet, but you've said that you're going to do a couple weeks or 3 weeks until the general launch for the rest of the series. After that occurs, what are some of the next steps? 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, what are you? And I'm not going to hold you to promising anything. Just I want to know what your ideas of what some of the things.
And that's why I didn't put the dates, because I work as a BA as my profession, and the dates are never the dates. Right. So that's why I go with phases. It's much easier to go with phases, especially if I can control it, instead of, but there should always be like a general date too, right? You don't want to say, phase 2, and then next thing you're launching 2025. Like, that's not fair, right?
Right.
So you still need a specific date, but you still need a general date, but you cannot have a specific date, right? So in terms of like phases, our next thing right after this, like the pre-sale, like once the first public, because I'm going to do it in like 2 parts for the public. Once that first portion of the public sale goes live, the next thing is I'm getting a coin, like Nifty coin, going right away. Because there's certain things in the roadmap that I haven't written, but I talk about it in the chat all the time. But the reason I haven't written is because, one, I need to speak to the devs. And the other thing is I might need to get more artists to get the next portion developed. And that's where the name KnftyWorld comes in. I told you to start, we want to build a bunch of stuff and have like a whole, I don't want to say metaverse, because it's such a weird term.
It's a loaded term right now, and that can mean anything from a video game to walk everyone around in, buying your own assets, customize it like that. You're right. That's a different thing. Now, when you're talking about those milestones and developments over time and building towards something, I don't think I've ever seen you like put pen to paper about it. But when you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do this have you ever had any numbers in your head about, I need this many Twitter followers or this many people in the Discord or this much, community engagement or whatever? Do you have those ideas in your head, even if you haven't written them out or put them on a whitelist somewhere?
Like in terms of like goals for our Twitter and Discord, or like just?
Well, I mean, there's multiple considerations about when you're going to release, right? Like, is the community big enough? Is it ready to be the sale that we expect it to be?
Right.
That's one side of it. The other side of it is things we've already talked about. Like, is the art where we want it to be? Have the developers made sure everything is going to work the way we want it to be? Yeah. There's a difference between, are you ready for it? Is the community ready for it? Yeah. Is it going to be as successful as you want? And I'm just wondering if you ever had any ideas about hard numbers or milestones that you wanted to hit as you're moving along.
For sure. That's always in the back of my head, we work so hard for this, and I don't want to take it away from any other team, but I think we might have been the hardest working team. Considering, one, we did not launch right away. Second, I'm taking like a major hit in my day job because I'm so committed to this. I used to be on 24/7. It's just my health just kept getting worse. And now I'm just kind of stepping back just a slight bit. Instead of sleeping 4 in, I sleep at 1 in now, or 12 p.m. So like I just take a slight step back, and I'm still there. So yes, that's always in the back of my mind. We want to, after like our initial, like what I'm thinking is, when we launch this public or pre-sale, right? When we have this 800, it should kind of create a little bit of buzz, right? Like it's just 800, and I'm really hoping, and I really like to treat people as investors, because this is a brand for me and not just like and I create this, and I'll see you guys, But this is a brand for me, so I really want to treat these people as investors and try to give as much as possible. So like the first 800, I expect these people to, take that floor really high, and I keep joking about it in Discord. Anybody listing below 400 gets a ban, right? So, but it's all in jokes and fun, it's just the mindset I want to put people in, and, to kind of not manipulate, but I want people to know that, you guys control the floor. It's not us. You guys control it. So
Right.
If you guys list it for 30, I can't do anything. But if you guys list it for 400, it's better for you, because when we keep launching and keep building, we're putting the money back into the project where you benefit from. We benefit and you benefit, right? So the goal is, to have the 800 sell out, which most likely 99% is going to sell out. And then we slowly kind of, we like our Discord's almost, I think it's 3,200. Our Twitter's, I think, like 2,900 right now. So I know we're doing pretty well, but we could do better. Personally, I would love to see that 10K, but is it realistic? Probably not, but maybe we might, right? But 5K is what I want to see before public. That's like, I haven't told anyone, but like that's what I keep seeing in my head. 5K number looks good, and I think with 5K around public launch, I think we'll do well.
Well, especially if you do batches, if you do say half and half, if you do 4,000 pieces, I think that's a really good number. And I do remember you put that to a community vote, didn't you? About breaking up the 8,000 into batches.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good strategy as well. Yeah. I think those are all. I have some ideas of what I want to ask you about, but I think it's more about what's going to happen after the public sale and after the pre-sale at the end of this week. So for now, I'm just going to say I'll let you get back to work, because I know you've got a lot to do in the next 4 or 5 days. One quick question I did have was, I've got my ADA ready for Friday at 7 p.m., but is there going to be a bit of a window for that 800?
So you're going to have 24 hours. You're going to have 24 hours to mint, because it's guaranteed one per whitelisted address, right? Mm-hmm. So we did 24 hours because we were trying to find a time that works globally, and it's not possible.
Right, exactly.
So we picked 7, and we're like, that's a really good time, but realistically, it's not possible. It's 2 a.m. somewhere, it's 1 a.m. somewhere. People don't want to stay up that late. Try to pick a day, like a Friday, Saturday, the weekend. But realistically, people work 9 to 5 or whatever have you, Monday to Friday. People are tired. So we said, you know what, let's just do 24 hours, and then right after that, we'll open it for the rest of the people, whatever is remaining, and I think that might work very well. So as long as people remember, hey, you don't have to mint, within the start and end time, we'll be okay.
Yeah, and I think so too. And I think, like you said, it takes a bit of dedication to have gotten onto that whitelist. So I don't think many people are going to forget about it or not be able to do it in 24 hours. And then I'm sure you got a pretty decent wait list as well for people who are willing to snap them up if the whitelisted people don't get them. Yeah. Well, sir, thank you very, very much for taking the time. As I've said lots of times, I mean, I was number 33 on the count to 3,000, and I got you to check, and thank you very much. I was number 42 on the wait list. I've been very excited about this project for a long time. So I wish you the best of luck the rest of this week, getting everything ready. And it's going to be a great launch on Friday. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here from the start. Honestly, it was the push, that we needed, the community push. Like at first it was the lizards, then it was you. It was like we couldn't have been here without the community, and and without a strong and believing community, a project is set to fail right from the start. So we appreciate you right there from 42 number or whatever it is, 38, 42, right? Really appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and
I hope you stay here for the journey because I have a lot of things planned.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and if they're as high quality and like as hardworking as everything you've put out so far, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fantastic. So again, thank you for joining me. I'm going to post, we're going to have this up in the next week, leading up to your launch date. I'm really looking forward to those sneak peeks that you're going to send me. Yeah. And we'll get everyone even more excited about this project. So thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it, Alex.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.